This is when Piccolo became allies with Goku. He died protecting my son and narrowly escaped his home planet being destroyed. That's rough.
That was a crazy adventure we had on planet Namek. I'm just glad we got home in one piece.
That sounds crazy. What happened to planet Namek anyway?
The whole planet was destroyed. So the Namekians had to move all their people to a new one.
Good thing we have the Dragon Balls to fix problems as big as that.
Hi guys, DN Neo here, and we're back with another podcast episode. Again, still don't know what the hell I'm going to call this, but I think I've kind of found out, or kind of figured out how I want to do this series, but I'll spend some more time thinking on that. Anyway, today, guys, as you probably just heard, we're going to be talking about Piccolo. I did one on the Dragon Balls, and I'll maybe go back and do a part 2 of that. But I want to talk about Piccolo, and I want to talk about the Namekians. Yeah, that's what I want to dive into today. Again, please leave a comment down below if you think of any subjects for me to cover with regards to the Dragon Ball universe, or any characters, or any moments, or any fights, and I'll have a look and see what I can do with them. But for today, guys, we are going to be talking about Piccolo. Let's jump into it. Okay, guys, so kicking this thing off, the first thing that I want to dive into with this episode is the Namekians, right? And I know we we saw how the Namekians lived very briefly before Frieza arrived on planet Namek, and then we the culture and stuff kind of went, right? But I wish we had seen more Namekians in the series. I think what we did see was really, really cool. And I loved the fact that Dende kind of became not only kind of the last Namekian, or at least when all that was going on, he was kind of the last one left on planet Namek. But then, he's kind of given this responsibility later down the line of, hey, we kind of need a new Earth Guardian, and with the Dragon Balls, like, yo, Dende, you on the job? Alright, you're hired. And I love that. I love that for Dende, and I love the fact that it wasn't just a throwaway character of, like, helping them with the Dragon Balls and the Namekian Dragon Balls and speaking to Piranha and, all of that. I genuinely love that, and I love the fact that they actually did something with him. Now, when it comes down to Piccolo, I find his character fascinating. Now, I don't so much want to cover Demon Piccolo in this episode, because I think that could be a whole other episode all to its own, right? But I do want to side mention here the fact that the original concept of Piccolo came from Demon Piccolo, and then the evolution of Piccolo, and then obviously the World Tournament with Goku and Piccolo, and then obviously, Piccolo kind of arriving when Raditz literally arrived on planet Earth, and that was kind of the first, I guess, evolution of Piccolo's character. And I love the fact that Piccolo got a lot more than just he's an alien race and he's good at fighting. That makes me really happy, honestly. And as much as I don't really like what they did in the later side of Dragon Ball Z, specifically with Z, what I do love is the fact that there was many moments with Piccolo that, yes, we knew he was a good fighter, and yes, he trains Gohan, whether he was the best at that, but he definitely got results out of Gohan. That's another thing. He got results out of Gohan. Whether you agree with the way he did it or not, he got results out of Gohan. And I'm not sure if Goku would have, or at least the same results in the limited time that they had, because they knew the Saiyans were coming to Earth. But I do love the fact that we slowly see this kind of evolution, kind of in real time, of Piccolo becoming this softer character. It wasn't just... Because I can imagine it would have been very easy for them to do, like, another reincarnation, and then, he's a softer Piccolo, right? I could see that, but we actually see, like, this real-time character change, and this real-time kind of evolution of a character, and it feels amazing to actually see that. And again, because this series has seen so much as a fighting and the blasts and the beams, and they're cool, they're really, really cool, and the transformations and the epic kind of fights, and then the monologues that take 3 episodes, but no, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. And I just think that Piccolo is one of those characters that I think we need to be more thankful for, in terms of, if it wasn't for the Piccolo and his character and the way he evolved, I don't necessarily think we get the evolution of Vegeta. I don't think we get the evolution of Gohan, honestly. I don't think... Like, there's several characters that have evolved throughout the Dragon Ball universe, and I know it started with Dragon Ball, but because my first kind of glimpse into the world was with Z, that... I just feel like Piccolo is always one of those characters that's, at least in my mind and the order that I watch stuff, that's the pinpoint moment. It's like, this is more than just a fighting cartoon. This is more than just pretty pictures on a screen sort of thing. And I really love that. And I think Piccolo, whether it be him brooding, which, let's be honest, it's fun to watch as a kid, right? The broody character. But also the fact that, when it comes down to Piccolo, he's the serious character, a bit like Vegeta in that respect. But also, he's, he cares, and the way he slowly becomes part of the Z Fighters. I mean, even when he's training Gohan originally, the ones that come down just after Goku's died, they're kind of like, well, you can't take Gohan. He's like, stop me then. And they just like, what do we do here? So he's not even one of the Z Fighters or even an ally at that point. Piccolo even says when Raditz lands, or when Goku and Piccolo go off to fight Raditz, I'm only doing this so then when we've stopped that guy, I'm then going to take over the Earth. Right? And I truly do believe that. I truly do believe that in that moment that Piccolo is saying that Piccolo believes in his heart of hearts and feels, and it was his intention, the fact that Piccolo did want to take Raditz off the map, or at least the map of Earth, and then he was going to come back and start trying to take over the world. And if you follow that narrative and you weave it through with Gohan and the way that evolved, and if you take that, with that, the only thing that I feel kind of bad about with the Namekians is the fact that they didn't really get a transformation. I know in Super they tried to correct that, and that's amazing with the Orange Piccolo form, but I wish they had gotten a little bit more. I know they had the fusion, which was really cool, and Nail, we first kind of see that with Nail, and I thought that was really cool, and in a way a lot more interesting than just a transformation. But I wish the Namekians, or more specifically Piccolo, had like a transformation, and then also the fusions on top. And the fusions are really interesting, right? The fact that you're not just getting a boost in power. It's not like the fusions with Goku and Vegeta where they just kind of merge and it's 3 times, 4 times the power or whatever the hell it is. It's actually like you're taking them in. Nail's like, look, I'm gonna be part of you. If you want to do this, I'm gonna be part of you. And I love the fact that Piccolo, even in that kind of moment with Nail dying, and he is just about to kick the bucket, and Piccolo, and even in that small kind of moment, we kind of see, I don't know if it's an evolution of character, but we see that kind of Piccolo accepting he is a Namekian, or at least not being as, I guess, against it, or not believing it. I don't really know which, but he feels a pride that he's that he's a Namekian, and he actually wants to do this again, not just for coming to Namek to save Gohan, and again that evolution, we see that thread, right? But he wants to do it to save Namek. He wants to do it to try and save any of his people that are left alive on Namek. At least that's my takeaway. That was my interpretation of Piccolo. And I hate when they started doing the whole babysit character thing with him. It just completely took me away from Piccolo. So I'm glad we see a lot more in Super, just across the board with Piccolo. I'm really glad of that. And I just think, like, Piccolo is a staple character now throughout Dragon Ball, and has been for a lot of years. And I'm just hoping that maybe we see more of the Namekians, because I'm really intrigued, right? I want to learn more. Like, I think, is it called the Dragon Clan? The fact that they're the ones that made the Dragon Balls. And I really kind of want to see more of that story, although, as I kind of said, the fact that, the Dragon Ball is going to kind of become obsolete, and it's just going to be used as a story device to kind of resurrect people and clean up crew, basically. So, yeah, I want to see more on the Namekians. I want to see more of those evolutions throughout Piccolo's character. And I'm hoping we see more of him, but with the god levels of stuff, I don't know. And I haven't actually seen the superhero or superhero, whatever the hell they called it. The movie with Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. So maybe if I saw that, it would kind of change things up for me. I'm not too sure. But I think Piccolo's a really important character. I love seeing him on screen, even if it's just like a speech. I mean, that moment when, Marge and Vegeta kind of chops Trunks and makes him pass out kind of thing. And then Piccolo's like, if you do this, you're gonna die. And he's like, yep, just, get my kid out of this, get my kid out of there and go 10. And then, Piccolo kind of doing that talk of, you really have changed Vegeta, and even though that is a Vegeta moment, I'm glad the fact that they still showed that side of Piccolo, right? That wisdom, that kind of side of him where he's more than just a fighter, and he is a good fighter, but more than that. I really love those moments with Piccolo, and I hope they keep coming. But yeah, guys, let me know, what do you guys think of Piccolo? What sides of him do you like? Do you agree with me on the evolution of Piccolo? And leave a comment down below of topics that you guys want me to discuss. So yeah, that's going to be it for me for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'm going to get the hell out of here. And love for Namekians and Piccolo. Keep it coming.